there, folks. This is Michael Pellegatti. I am a licensed and trained New York City tour guide. This is my license right here. And I have been licensed since 2013. And I am here in Times Square today to raise awareness to this issue that I call Bring Back the Guides. We should not have to protest to get our jobs back. An audio tour is no replacement for a live tour guide. I fundamentally stand by that belief. You know, the thing about being here July 4th weekend, 2021, a year removed from what we call deep COVID pandemic territory, the fact that no tour guides have been brought back to conduct tours on tour buses is something I find to be unacceptable. And every tour guide in the business, whether they are employed or not, should find that unacceptable as well. Leading up to COVID-19, you know, the industry has been encroaching upon our profession and has been trying to automate us out of existence. You know, the big bosses within these tour bus companies think that we're expendable. We're not expendable. The audio tours are expendable. They're not updated, they're not entertaining, and they're not really that informative, to tell you the truth. But, you know, what's going on now is that as the city is reopening, as tourism is reopening, my fellow colleagues have been locked out of the business. And these tour bus companies are taking advantage of tourists who are unaware of the situation at hand, and said, "Hey, we'll charge you $100-something to give you the minimum experience." That's not fair to them, and that's definitely not fair to us. This is a story of business owners maximizing their profits post-pandemic at the expense of our displacement, and that's not fair. Now, I'll give you a little example of what an audio tour cannot do. Behind me is a 1937 designed Charles Keck sculpture of Father Francis Patrick Duffy. He was a military chaplain within fighting 69th Regiment, almost all Irish regiment during the First World War. He was a pastor at a chapel nearby, so they decided to give him a statue in his honor. Straight ahead, at the southern end of what is technically called Duffy Square, because this ain't Times Square. Times Square is the other triangle down there. Is a 1959 designed statue. George Lober designed it. It's of George Cohen. George Cohen is really like the first pop music composer in United States history. He composed the songs Give My Regards to Broadway and, you know, Over There. So in that respect, it was also really a major contributor to a lot of the musicals that took place within Times Square in the past. And so because of his gargantuan status within this neighborhood, of course he's going to get a statue. Why not? Next to, pointing to the right now, next to George Cohen, where it says CrowdStrike, that big television screen on the Marriott, yeah, that's possibly the largest HD television screen in the world. Okay, they spend $3 million a month to advertise on that thing. How much I spent on my little Bring Back the Guides sign? How much I spent on that? About $7. Spent about $7. I think I got a good deal to do my little advertisement in Times Square. And if my fellow tour guides join me here, you know what? They have the same great deal, great bargain. You know, you don't have to spend $3 million to advertise something. And just, you know, spend a few bucks on a sign. There you go. Straight ahead. 2021, it says 2021 up there. That is One Times Square. That's a building that's 363 feet, designed by Eldon Mackenzie. Once upon a time ago, it was the second tallest building in New York. Forget about it now. It's where they dropped the ball on New Year's Eve. That ball is made out of 20,000 Waterford crystals in Waterford, Ireland. Now the story about the ball, why they dropped the ball, okay? Back in the days, they didn't have battery-powered watches. They have computers. You know, and New York's a port city, and lots of trains coming in, and they got to keep those boats and trains running on time, so they dropped the ball from a big building that was originally down in next, at the old Western Union building next to St. Paul's Chapel downtown. And they appropriated that concept for the New Year's. But yes, that was the ball drop was just a way to say, hey, well, time to reset your watches. Hey, time to reset your calendars. Now back then, before the ball drop, they had fireworks, but we don't want to burn half of New York City down. It happened a few times. We don't want that to happen again. See where that Disney store is, 1540 Broadway. Yeah, well, let's talk about that. That's where the Lowe's Theater used to be. That's where The Godfather made its New York City debut. How about that? Now it's a Disney store. We went from not so family friendly to family friendly. Hey, I guess the real estate people made them an offer they couldn't refuse, right? And oh yeah, where that big giant panda is. See down there where the panda is? Yeah, there's a sound installation there. It's an art installation. It makes a low vibrating sound. It goes, yeah. Forgot who put it in there, but it's one of the little interesting quirks about Times Square. And by the way, I am not a Times Square tour guide. I mostly practice in Lower Manhattan, but for the sake of being here, I'm gonna do my little spiel here. And there's the American Eagle Outfitters. You know what that used to be? That used to be a Howard Johnson's ice cream store. Now it's a clothing store. You know, as if New York City doesn't have enough clothing stores. We need more ice cream stores and less clothing stores. I think that would be great. So the reason why they call this the theater district, it's not really what you think. You know, you associate it with Broadway musicals and stuff. But the fact of the matter is, in the 1920s, this is where you would come to watch movies. You didn't have Netflix, you didn't have malls, you didn't have any of that stuff. You had movie theaters here, about 300 of them. So if you wanted to watch the latest Charlie Chaplin flick, you'd come to Times Square. Not to mention, the reason why it's called Times Square is because it's named after the New York Times. That was a decision finalized by a guy named George McClellan Jr. He was the son of the not so great Civil War general George McClellan, who also lost the 1864 election to Abraham Lincoln, appropriately so. But yeah, that's why Times Square has its name. Before this was Times Square, this was called Longacre Square. This is where they used to breed horses and cattle. Now, forget about it. Forget about it. Ain't no horses and cattle here. Well, there are horses. Usually it's the police riding the horses. And this is the only place where you'll find mounted cops. And they're there for show. New York doesn't use mounted cops, okay? That's a myth. They're only here for show and, you know, to enhance the tourism experience. And yeah, we got all the great musicals here. Down 46th Street is where Hamilton is. Very interesting musical. It's like the hip-hop Founding Fathers musical with the whole cast of the IPOC folks. A very interesting musical. I've never seen it, but, you know, I've heard lots of things about it. Give me a chance, you know. Yeah, give us a chance. Give us a chance and bring back the tour guides. Or is it one shot? I forgot. But I'm not really a Broadway musical tour guide, okay? Forgive me. You also got Book of Mormon, and that was designed, that was a show created by the South Park creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. It's a show that I watch religiously. What else you got here? Oh yeah, you see where all those people are standing? How you doing?
Holy red.
We got a tour guide here doing tour guide stuff. Isn't that great? I think it's a tour guide. I don't know. He has a personality to be a tour guide. So anyhow, see where all those names are? That's a map of the Broadway district. So in case you don't know where your theater is, you come right here behind George Cohen, and you look for where your theater is on that in the embedded sidewalk map. Isn't that nifty, right? But back to the main subject at hand. What I just did, I just demonstrated what an automated tour can't do, and that's actually do a tour. Just a pre-recording, We should encourage all tourists who come to New York to either boycott the bus tours until they bring back the tour guides, or leave negative reviews until they bring back the tour guides. They need to bring us back. We help make this city what it is. We tell all of our visitors here, you know, don't go to McDonald's, go to Jacob Israel's Kitchen instead up in Harlem. You know, don't go to Pizza Hut. You go to like DeForest Pizza. You go to, or you go to like, you know, Upside Pizza if you don't feel like traveling all the way on a Q train to Brooklyn. Upside Pizza at 49th Street. That's one of the best slices in Manhattan, let me tell you, okay? But anyhow, we got some interesting people here, I must say. But anyhow, going back to the subject, I call upon all tour guides to join me in saying, bring back the tour guides, bring back the guides. I call upon the theater district, stagehands, performers, you know, our colleagues in the entertainment industry to stand with us tour guides. We need your help. We gotta let these bus companies know that we are not replaceable. And we deserve to have our jobs back after a year of being cooped inside and doing, you know, virtual tours and reading books. We deserve that. Deserve to come back to where we belong. So please help us out, and please bring back the guides. We need your help, and once you help us, we can assure you folks in the New York City entertainment community and tourism community that we will help you back. Bring back the guides, folks. Bring back the guides. This is Michael Pelagatti, and I'm signing out.